being unapologetic who we are, man. We've been so. I mean, we were like that way in the '60s.
Right.
You know, when we had the Black Panther Party, we had the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings and all them. But they murdered them and targeted them and or exiled them, and that scared us. That scared us.
Right.
And then, so you ain't seen one since. I always say, man, the last revolutionary that we ever had was George Lester Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah, over the he was over the Solidarity Brothers.
Right.
He was killed in prison in '71, I believe it was. That was the last black revolution that we had. Everybody else after that ain't nothing but tokens.
Right.
Because none of them are talking about black power.
And then,
none of them are talking about black economics. You know what I mean? Well, I'm talking about when you look at the commercial. You know, you got Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton and all that type of stuff. Is that, you know, are they really? They're not talking about. I mean, you see Al Sharpton out there when there's a major case.
right.
But black people are still in the conditions that they're in. You know what I mean? We're still top line of all the health conditions. We're still lowest on household wealth and all that. Because they are not coming to get to about, like Martin Luther King was saying before they killed him, we want to go to Washington to get our check.
Right.
So,
and that's the thing about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got them out there, they're still playing their game. Because they ain't doing nothing, because they're too afraid.
That's right, too afraid.
Feed them a little bit of scraps and stuff like that.
Tokenism. That's what it's about. It's called tokenism, man. They'll allow a Barack Obama. They'll allow a Oprah Winfrey. They'll allow one or two because they can always say, well, and I hear Republicans and Fox News are always saying this, well, racism doesn't exist because we had America elected Barack Obama as president. Okay, that's tokenism because Barack Obama never would have got elected if he had an unapologetic agenda for black folks.
That's why nothing got put through.
That's why nothing got done. So he was there, to distract us from what they're doing.
We was all, oh yeah.
Yes, we can. Okay? Quantify that for me. Of how black folks got better while he was in office. And that good. First black president, great. Intelligent, beautiful first lady. Respect all that. Good dude, seemed like an upstanding man. But when you look at what was his prescription solution for black folks, it doesn't exist. And you ask yourself, he wouldn't even give money to store free black colleges.
Right, and that's what's going on right now with SBU, as far as, you know, the rats and all that conditions inside the schools and stuff like that. You know, it's just like, what has this president done for us? Once we got him in there.
Right.
But guess what? They got the Asians got this, this got this.
What about the Latinos at the border and all that? With undocumented workers. But what have you directly done for black people? Now, of course, there's something in his plan, but I mean is,
when is it going to come?
Yeah, there's never like, this is what I'm going to do for black people. Not this is how I'm going to inject cash into the black community and give people jobs. Like they did to white people, like they did to Asian people, like they do it to Latinos.
And the thing about it, it's like, do people even really see it? Do they not realize it? There's only few that are conscious about what's going on, you know? They swear everything's fine and better. I don't see it. Like I tell my wife, I'd rather be safe by not going outside my house because I know how I am and I know how the world is, and there's a lot of people that done got courage from out of nowhere, and that's gonna basically destroy me. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're a weapon. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, how do they get rid of the weapon? They put that stuff out there that's going to pull that weapon to do.
Exactly. That's why we don't have, because when we were segregated, you know, in the 60s, and we're still segregated now, but when there was obvious Jim Crow and obvious segregation, all we had was each other. So we had to fight.
See, I come from a city in Ohio that was actually part of the Underground Railroad. where I grew up. I come from a city, it was a black city. It's called Caddis. The city's like population of 2,500. But now, whites went in there and bought all the blacks' land and everything like that. So it's changed and stuff like that. But that's the thing about it, you know. We don't know how to, or I shouldn't say we. I said some people are fooled by how they come at them. Here, guess what? We'll give you this.
Right.
We'll give you this.
Right.
And some people will look at it, oh, well, I ain't never had this, so, boy, yeah, they're doing me, treat me right, because they're giving me more than I ever had. I don't know, man. That's just the way I look at it, you know what I mean? We're going to get this, you know. I'm just getting everything signed up to where we're actually live right now.
Oh, cool.
You know.
Yeah, so I mean,
but you know, if we just need a lot more people discussing it.
Yeah, we need a lot more people discussing this type of thing, man, because, you know,
That's what it is.
that's it. Discussing it and then bring it to the forefront, and then what is our plan? You know, what we gonna try to do about the moving forward.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that. Alright, what's up everybody? This is your boy Shogun. Right now, just chill, listen to the music. I'm getting everything set up. We got a really, really big show going on today. I got a good friend in here today, as you can see. My brother Rich, you know what I'm saying, Richard.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kingdom wear, I mean, everything you can think of. And the thing that's such a blessing is, believe it or not, me and his brother probably have known each other probably 10 years.
10 years now, yeah. 10 years.
10 years.
And we just connected from there, man. It's
10 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And always stay in touch, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do more.
Yeah. Right.
Connecting.
That's right.
Staying in touch.
Staying in touch. Staying in touch, man. That's right.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to get into it, you know what I'm saying? So bear with me because I want to make sure all my social media platforms hears this conversation and gets a chance to see it. It's going to be on TikTok Live. For those that have TikTok and you can actually pay attention to live, go to Shogun _O.T.R. Okay? That's what it is. Shogun _O.T.R.
It's beautiful.
Not really saying nothing right now. Just got one of the listeners saying the music's up loud. We can't hear what you're talking about. Don't worry, we're going to fix that for you. We're going to get it right.
Hey, they want to hear what we got to say, bro.
That's what we're going to turn it down, that's for sure. We're going to turn it down. We're going to turn it down. We're going to give you what you want. So bear with me. All right. Let's see. All right. Got that one right. And also, like I said, you can go to Instagram. You can check us out there. You hear everything's going on. If you hear the song, what it say? You gotta hustle. You gotta grind. That's what we do here. All righty. Sometimes we got you there. You're on Instagram. Are you not? Yes, you are. But I said you're on Instagram too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about Facebook.
Okay.
Music only.
All right, everybody, what's going on? This is your boy Shogun. This is On the Rise Radio. Guess what? We got a guest in the house today. I'm going to give it up, and I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself, but it's a good friend. I've known him for over 10 years. 10 years. That's how we know each other. You know what I'm saying? We actually worked on a film project together, and since then, we've been basically connected, and that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Connecting with people that have like minds and like, you know, attitudes, like goals. You know what I'm saying? So let's understand, let's give a welcome to a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Known him, like I said, 10 years, Mr. Richard Harrison.
Oh, my man. Thank you for having me, bro. My man, Lisa, I can't believe I'm here on the rise with you, man.
Hey, that's what it is.
That's all fire, man.
On the rise. And the thing is, like you said, it started out as street notes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
like,
right.
I was like, man, you know, street notes, that's like I'm still in them streets and stuff.
Right.
And I said, I got to change my attitude. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? I'm on the rise. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And just like your brand.
No doubt.
Kingdom.
Yeah, the kingdom.
Kingdom.
We building. Hey, man, we're unapologetic, beautiful people, man.
That's right.
And that's what kingdomhood really speaks to, man. It's reimagining who we are as a people. We're the father of everything, the father of medicine, the father of tools, the father of culture, the father of anything you can think of is created by people of color, man. So the kingdomhood really is taking back what we look as a hood now, right, and taking it where it should be.
Right.
You know,
right.
The people that actually built this nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? The reason why America is rich because our ancestors were picking cotton.
Right.
And gave them the money to be this economic, military, and political power.
Right.
So, you know, we took being robbed of our homeland, brought across the Atlantic, and then builds people of a country.
Right.
And gives them the economic resource to do that. We're a powerful people, man.
Right.
So that's what Kingdom was about. It's about recognizing everybody in the African diaspora, how powerful we are together.
Man, that is so. And the thing is about it, and you say we built this place.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about it. And
unapologetically.
Understand one thing. What he said, we built this. Mm-hmm. Okay? We was the ones that paved these roads through this channel of these people coming from other countries. They brought us from our country,
right?
You know what I'm saying, which was abundant in wealth.
Yeah.
And I never thought of this, but you said this. Mm-hmm. They must have knew how we built where we was, and it's like, man,
correct.
We gotta get them over here and do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how I look at it. Am I thinking the right way?
No, you know, you're right. If you look at Africa, how rich and progressive Africa was even before the transatlantic slave trade, and then you look at Britain, which was in turmoil, and that's where, you know, the white Europeans came to this country. But Britain was getting rid of their downtrodden because it was in disease and famine and everything like that. So they were looking at us and like, dang, we want to be like that. Those are strong people. They understood the African heritage, right? They tried to enslave other white people in this country, but white people can hide in the mainstream. They tried to enslave the Indians, right? But the Indians were weak and they died off. And they said, man, let's go get these mandingos.
Right.
Let's go get these powerful black folks that can work from, you know, can't see day to can't see night. And yeah, because we're powerful, so powerful physically and mentally, they said this is the economic catalyst that we're going to use to build this country, and we're going to do cotton. Because if you look at the 17 and 1800s, 80% of our gross domestic product was exported cotton, and who's picking that cotton? Us.
Right.
And that's how America got rich.
Right. So, what would you say to somebody that, because you see in the news and the media how some black people don't even believe what you're speaking. Mm-hmm. How do you get people to wake up and say, take a good look at this? Because, I mean, there's some people, I would say almost to the point where they're like dumb to what's going on.
Correct.
How do you wake them up?
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of us, man, black folks, and I always say this all the time, and people get mad at me when I say this, but this is what I mean. Integration is the worst thing that ever happened to black folks. Because prior to integration, We had the Black Panther Party.
Right.
You know, a black, what they call a freedom fighting group. We had DOD, Deacons of Defense. We had INFACT.
Right.
You know, we had all these black militias that stood together in power to fight against a white power structure. So during the 60s, they gave us, you know, incrementalism is what I always say. So they gave us the Voting Rights Act, and they gave us, you know, the end of Jim Crow. They gave us the Fair Housing Act. But in the meantime, they killed King, they killed Malcolm, they killed Fred Hampton.
Right.
You know what I mean? They killed JFK and his brother.
Right.
So what they did was they wanted to kill all the black freedom fighters because they wanted to set us up for integration. They said they don't allow you integration. We thought we won, but they allow you to integrate so they can give you a piece of their white power. So it was a small piece,
Right.
Because we're going to give you that, so you turn your back on your blackness.
Right.
See, and that's why they're so lost, is because they've been indoctrinated. First of all, they've been taught to hate themselves, number one.
Right.
And they've been indoctrinated and said, man, I got a white job in corporate America. What's up with this black stuff? You know what I mean? I'm making money, man. You know, the world is good now.
Right.
So they don't care, don't want to know what's really going on,
Right.
or what the underbelly of the system is doing.
Right.
But it was all orchestrated.
Right.
It was all orchestrated to have people like what you're saying, like, oh man, what you talking about, black? What you talking about this, man? There's no racism doesn't exist. You got black people to say that.
Right. Right. But you know, it's like I look at it on my side of the coin. You know, here I am, an ex-felon,
Correct.
2-strike felon.
Yeah.
I'm from Ohio. And I told them, I was like, you know what? I want to go home. I got to get out of California.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because in California, it's more of a policing state.
Yeah, and a prison state.
They want a prison.
Yeah.
They build more prisons out here than I've ever seen in my life.
Any other place in the country.
And like I told them, I was like, okay, I want to go back home. I need to get out of here. But they refused me to be able to leave.
Correct.
They said no. And then eventually going down the line, I found out they don't want me to leave because I'm a paycheck to them.
Correct.
Because if I do something again, they say, okay, you're done for life. You're incarcerated for life. And guess what? They get paid off of me for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
And I'm locked up.
Absolutely.
And they do that so much.
Yeah.
So much. It's crazy to me.
Right.
And I try to get people to understand, you know what I'm saying? As I say, I'm a 2-strike felon, but it's like I did apply for a pardon, full pardon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's actually sitting on the governor's desk. As a matter of fact, I sent an email to the governor last week saying what's going on. You know, what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. I did everything you needed me to do, and they haven't responded back to me. My thing is, black people, I guess, want to believe what they're being told because, like you said, maybe they're comfortable with what they're... I'm never comfortable.
Right.
I can't be comfortable.
Right.
Because I'm a father, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, has my kids targeted different ways.
Yeah.
As far as what it is. So it's like,
Right.
you know, as a father, to me, I thought that I needed to instill into my kids, hey, this world is not set up for you to win. It's set up for you to not go where you want to go. But let me show you how you can. Right. See, that's the thing about it. A lot of black people, black men, I don't think they put that education out there to the youth. Because, like, you see how the youth is right now.
Right.
I mean, it's like, I'm like, what the hell? Disrespecting parents, disrespect this, disrespect that. It has never been in I've never seen it as much as I see it now. And I come from a city where it's like, yes ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am, no sir.
Correct.
And to this day, it's still yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's like they're wiping everything out that's been taught to us, and they're hoping we cannot, I don't know, teach our kids that?
I mean, because the thing is, they want to rob you of a knowledge of self and take on, you know, European standards. If you really look at it, when you look at TV shows, commercials, or just in your public life, when you out and about, right, you'll see white kids talk to their parents in your kind of way.
Right.
And, you know, the white parent will say, well, Kirky Willard Johnson II.
Right.
You're in big trouble. Like,
Right.
shut up, I hate you.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I mean, if I even said click,
Right.
you know, it'd be hit.
Right.
I'd be
Right.
my teeth. I'd be swallowing some teeth. I said this to
Right.
my mom. That's how it was. But now, since they got in telling you what you can't do to your child, and they empower the kids over the parents, and now you even seeing black a commercial. I never forget this commercial, man, because I always say that black male masculinity is under attack, right?
Right.
I always say we are under attack,
Right.
from physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, everywhere. There's this commercial where this young black girl was in the refrigerator, and she was getting some. It was early in the morning. And the father comes down and says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be, eating those snacks, being in the refrigerator." He says, and she says, "Well, then mom said I can, so it's okay." In other words, she just disempowered him as a black man.
Right.
And I saw that commercial, and it was the message behind it.
Right.
First time you see an all black family. They're all dark skinned too.
Right.
The mother's dark skinned, the child's dark skinned, and the man's dark skinned.
Right.
But they disempowered it. If you look at these AT&T commercials, look at the black men on the commercial. They're as soft as cotton.
Right.
There's one commercial where this guy, he was a big old black dude, and big burly black guy. And then they had that white lady that's always on that 18 commercial. She's on there all the time. You'll see this commercial one day. And she says something to him. I can't remember what she says. And he says, "Well, I'll have to call my mother. Mom? Oh, Mom, okay." And she hangs up. I mean, just as soft as cotton. I mean, and you get this, and these are subliminal messages how they attack black male masculinity.
Right. And it's funny that you say that, because I give you an example, and this happened today. My daughter, okay, she deals with kids with autism. Okay.
All right.
And I have 2 grandsons. Yeah. And these grandsons are, smart as whips, but they're so smart that they're bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not. They're not a dumb bad. They're a smart bad.
Smart bad. Yeah. There you go.
And today she sent me a video, and I'll show you later, of. This is what they teach you in society to discipline your kids that are being bad. Because his thing was he disrespect his parents. So guess what she did? She wrapped the box and it had coal in it. Like, you know how like when you was a kid you used to say, "Oh, you're gonna get coal from Santa Claus if you're bad." Yeah. And she had a letter with it. So he is reading the letter, talking about you gotta be this, you gotta be this, because you can't disrespect your mother, or this is what you're getting for Christmas. Which I understand the premises of what she's trying to do. Right. But that's what society says has to be done, because you cannot discipline your child the way they used to. So here, use this method. To me, that method ain't going to work in my world. Right. It's like, right now, this is the discipline you receive. Right. To the point where, like, it even happened to me one time. My son, who is now 31 years old, he was like 15 years old. And he skipped school. He was living with me. Of course, you skip school, you fucked up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You fucked up. Yeah. Ass is mine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just to let you know, people, you can't cuss on this. We are internet radio, so we can't cuss. That's right. So ass is mine. That's right. So he skipped school. I got in that ass. My son, the 25-year-old, Leandro, was there at the time. I was chasing him down steps. He went to go jump over the fence. One half the shirt went with me, and the other half went with him. 30 minutes later, he come knocking on my door with the police. And I said, "Hold up. That's my son. And he's not going to be doing this." And they said, no, Mr. White, we just want to know what's going on." What's going on? He's skipping school. You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to do it. I'm going to beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? "Well, you can't do that. You can't." I'm going to tell you right now, then he's going home to his mama. Yeah. Or you could take him. Yeah, because I'm saying it's not happening in my book. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That don't go. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it was when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? How do you, time out? What the fuck is a time out? We had your time is up. Exactly. Yeah. Go pick a switch. Go get a switch. And leave the tips of the leaves on this so I can hear it whistle through the wind as it beat your ass. Yeah, right. Because like I can remember our ass whoopings were graduate. It's like at first, basically we got smacked with the switches, picked the switch. Then it went to a belt. Yeah. Then we had the razor strap. We went to the razor strap.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, my dumb ass in 7th grade, I learned how to make paddles in shop. So that became the weapon of choice. But all of a sudden, when I got 16 and older, I'm bigger. So of course, my mom used it as a hatchet. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, and then when I got to the point where I was that old, it came with these. Yeah. She's like, okay, you grown now. Yeah. Bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, like I said, how you going to learn? Like I said, I'm not saying I'm a good kid. I was a bad.
Yeah.
But I know my boundaries, and to this day, I could never see what I see some kids do when they disrespect their mother and call their mother by their first name. Yeah. I don't care how big I get over my mom or what it's yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am. I don't even cuss around here.
That's right.
I mean, you know, I don't, you know, I can drink. I don't drink around her.
Yeah. Cause it's just a sign of respect.
That's my mom.
Sign of respect. Yeah.
And I'm just saying, the world is so fucked up now.
Right.
That it's crazy that they've taken all that out of the black community.
Man, they, you know, the thing is, they don't want, let me just put it this way, man. You know, so let me go back here a little bit. I mean, we talk about our hoods, right? Right. And look, everybody's had ghettos. The European Jews had them. Mm-hmm. The Irish had them. The Italians had ghettos before they got their white card. Because in 1940, before that, those three ethnic groups were ethnic groups. They weren't considered white. Right. But they got their white card, and they benefited greatly from their white card. Right. And now when you fill out a job application, you just say white. They won't say Irish. You won't say any of that. So they got their white classification, white Cubans and all that. So they benefited greatly, pulled themselves out of their ghettos, got into American mainstream and all that. They know they can do the same for us to help uplift our black communities. Mm-hmm. Because in 1968, LBJ he sent out a group of professionals, of scholars, and to look at the black community and find out why we are the way we are. It's called the Kerner Commission. Okay. The Kerner Commission. So when the Kerner Commission came back, it came back and said the number one reason America is going in two directions. One white, one black, separate but unequal. Mm-hmm. Is that the solution is to provide them jobs to the black community. Okay. They also predicted that the majority of the cities would be black. Mm-hmm. So after that report came out, and then here's the thing: was the King got killed in '68, 2 weeks before the Kerner Commission report came out, because J. Edgar Hoover called King America's greatest liar, right? Right. But that Kerner Commission was his evidence, so King had to go. Right. And besides, he was saying, I want to go to Washington to get money for us. Right. So what they're doing, what I see they're doing to us, man, is the 60s, they gave us incrementalism. And then in the 70s, gave us a bunch of distractions. Because you went from basically no black TV shows and movies in the 60s to over 200 black movie shows in the 70s. Right. Because they wanted to keep us distraction. Right. In the meantime, Nixon is doing everything to set us up for the drug war that they're going to put drugs in the communities in the 80s. Right. So that's why they're doing it. They want to destroy our kids. They want to destroy our kids. Now we have social media as a distraction. Right. So Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all these things are keeping us distractions from focusing on ourselves and moving forward on what the government is actually doing to us. Right. They're only doing that to us. Right. So that's why our kids are in the position that they are now, because they're totally distracted. Right. They used a different method to distract us. Now they're using social media to distract today's kids. Right.
Video games.
Yeah, video games.
I mean,
video games.
My 12-year-old son, like, I'll give you an example. He stays in that video world. Right. So I had to do something different with him. And what it was he DJs. Mm-hmm. So basically, a family hit me up and said, hey, you know what I'm saying, we want to hire you, son, for a DJ and everything like that. I was like, okay. And I said, this is what you can do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he started out, like, you've heard of DJ Levita? No. The young girl, she's about 13 years old. Uh-uh. He started around the same time. But she's opening up for major brands now. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. At the same age that I started him with, he started at the same time. But guess what was his thing? Video games. Right. Video games. You understand? Yeah. So I was like, you know what you got to do? So what I did, I said, okay, I got to figure out some way to get his attention. Mm-hmm. So I started him a bank account. He did his first gig yesterday. He made some money. I went to the bank. I said, here's your card. This is how you load money in there. This is how you pay for stuff. This is what you're supposed to do. We went to the store. Buy you something right now so you can see how to use this card. We got to teach our kids a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Because them video games is eating their brains up.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's a total distraction, man.
It's like
it's a 100% distraction because he, you know, dude, just like when I study, history and study society in America, I realize the game that's being played with us, man.
Right.
And it's a trip. I always say that Black America need to take America to the war court and charge them with racial genocide.
Right.
Because we are the only people who they have launched a genocidal war on.
Right.
I mean, if you look at J. Edgar Hoover and how he used the FBI and the police and the government, how they attack black people. They didn't do that to any other race. No other race except us. You know what I mean? And we were people that brought it through forced migration. Everybody else came in through immigration, voluntary immigration, right?
Right.
So, and when you look at how they have given us, like I would say, like the 60s was a decade of incrementalism. They gave us, these civil rights bills. But
right.
They were killing our leaders and sending in Judases into the Black Panther Party and monitoring King and monitoring Malcolm X and all these people. And then that was incrementalism. And then the 70s was kind of like a decade of where the distractions really started. Because like I said, you had Black Enterprise that started. You had Bill Cosby started the first Bill Cosby show. You had in Michigan State was the first Black president. You had the first Black admiral in the Marine Corps. No, in the Navy. In the Navy. And then in the 70s, you saw all these. So what they want to do was, and this is what check this out. This is what we want to pay attention to. We were like, man, we got movies out. We got coffee, man. We got all the 70s, man. But we went from Black Power. They looked at us as a Black Power force to what they portrayed us on TVs as pimps and hoes.
Yeah.
And then in the 1970s, the rainbow, the gay movement, commandeered the civil rights movement.
Right.
So then you see around 1971, you got the stoner. I forgot the name was the riot, but it was riot when the gays rioted about they wanted their rights.
Right.
And then they started, and then that took over. So the 70s was the decade of distractions.
Right.
We're gonna give them TV. We're gonna give them Sanford and Son. We're gonna give them all these movies that portray us as pimps and hoes, because they want to change the way the world looked at Black America.
It's funny that you say it, because I, as a kid growing up in the 60s, there was only 2 channels on our TV.
That's right.
There was Channel 9 and Channel 2.
Yeah.
And they didn't play nothing black.
Wasn't black.
But then all of a sudden, and it's like, wow, damn, it's an eye-opener. In the 70s, all of a sudden, there's more channels. And there's black shows.
But the black shows, but what are the black shows doing? They're changing the way society looks. Because we were Huey P. Newton.
Right.
We were Geronimo Pratt.
Right.
We were Bobby Seale.
Right.
We were Malcolm X. We were the Honorable Marcus Garvey.
Right.
We were Medgar Evers. We were Fannie Lou Hamer.
Right.
We were a Black power.
Right.
And the most feared people on God's great earth.
Right.
But so once they killed all our leaders and exiled us, and then set us up, because if you look at this, man, in the 70s they distracted us, right? By pimps and hoes.
Right.
But in 1971, when renegade Republican evil Richard Nixon gets elected, the first thing he did in 71 is say that drug is enemy number 1.
Right.
Check this out. And then 1973, he puts in the Drug Enforcement Act where he gives mandatory sentences.
Right.
They're all setting this up. What do they do in 1980s? They put crack in our neighborhoods.
Crack.
So what they did, they deindustrialized us in the 70s. They keep distracted by watching TV.
Right.
But they deindustrialized you. In 1970, you can graduate high school with a plumber. You can graduate as a masonry, a mechanic.
Right.
They stripped the schools. They took all the factories out of the neighborhood. So now we're poor. They put drugs in the neighborhood and say you either gonna smoke it or sell it. The ones they smoked it, their mind's gone. The ones that sold it, they put their drugs. Then they come in the 90s and put all the drug places, all the drug crimes, to put us in jail from the drugs they put in our neighborhoods and the laws they set us up with in the 70s. They've done that to no other race. But see, they distract us with all this. And I'm afraid that we're distracted. You got Negroes, and if you go in the ghettos, black folks have, most of the black folks have the highest percentage of people that have cable TV.
Right.
Because you are being programmed. You have black kids spend all their time on Facebook and YouTube and all this stuff.
Right.
And don't realize what the system is being done behind you.
Right. That's right. And the thing, I look at it, when I was in school, they taught us shop, industrial. I know how to work. I worked on lathes. You know what I'm saying? I was making lamps in school and stuff like that.
Man.
And then I'm like, they don't have none of, just like, a good thing is, which made me mad, I'm like, they don't even teach people how to write in cursive in schools.
No,
I was like,
more of that.
I'm like, so I told my son, I was like, I bought him a cursive book. I said, you're going to learn to write cursive, because how are you going to take care of business? How are you going to sign a check? You going to print your name on your checkbook? I mean, it's like they dumbing everybody down.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, because the chief thing is the thing they want to do is they want to put distractions. They'll allow trust me, they'll allow Al Sharpton to do whatever he's doing. They don't care.
Right.
I mean, Al Sharpton can show up at the George Floyd funeral. He can show up. They don't give a damn about that. But what is Al Sharpton not talking about? How do I empower black people economically? How do I pull all black people together to have our own city, where we have our own hospitals, where we have our own banks, where we have our own schools? Because everything we're doing now is based off a European standard.
Right.
Schools were started by the churches. So churches, you have to sit still.
Right.
So you gonna force our kid, and this is one thing I did too. I whooped my kid, discipline him about not sitting down and paying attention to the teacher. When all the data and research shows that the kids learn better when they're up and moving.
Right.
But we've indoctrinated. Even don't even get me started on Christianity.
Right. Because
if your slave owner wasn't a Christian, you wouldn't be either.
Right.
Because we wouldn't practice Christianity in Africa. So. And the term pastor came from a coon Negro that will preach a canned message to slaves and keep them in slavery. But we'll go to church, and I'll take my son to a church, right, with a white Jesus on the wall, and say, I'm going to sit down and pray to him. When the Bible clearly said Jesus is not white. Yeah. All these things, we talk about religion, culture, economically. These are the things that Al Sharpton and any of those people are not talking about.
And that's the thing, like, say, for instance, you say the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party was not a rebel party.
They weren't at all.
They were actually in the trenches, education,
healthcare,
and they tried to make them look like they was the bad guys, and I mean, like, that don't even make sense. And they basically, the Panther Party was to help the black people.
Yeah, that's what in the mid '60s. That's what the Panther talking to this white guy. Is in Florida, and he was saying, well, the Black Panther Party, I hate when they do this. The Black Panther Party, the KKK were both racist. No. I said, okay. So I said, because most white people, and a lot of black people don't even know why the Black Panther was started originally, and what the Panther is. So I said, hey man, so why was the Black Panther Party started? It was to attack and hate white people. I said, no, that's not why the Black Panther Party was started. Right. The Black Panther Party realized that we have our black kids in school that they're trying to sit down and educate European style, teaching them white supremacy, and they're hungry. Right. You can't teach a kid nothing, they're hungry. They don't have health care. Right. So that's why the Black Panther Party started, because our inner city kids were hungry. Right. It had nothing to do, it morphed into it. They were forced into it. Right. The KKK was started by Benjamin Tillman and all these other vitriolic racist people to terrorize, disenfranchise, and intimidate black folks. Right. So you have a group, a white gang, one of the first white gangs in America, white, that lynched over 7,000 black people that we know of. Right. And the Black Panther Party has not lynched one. How do you put those in the same conversation?
They can't be. It's just like even the lynching of the 76-year-old lady.
Yeah, yeah.
What they trying to say that's what it's like. It's like some people, how can you even think that that's what's going on? Why ain't you fucking pissed? Right. Why ain't you 76 years old? I just decided I'm gonna go out and hang myself.
Yeah, right. I've been living all this long.
13-year-old kid.
Right. In the South. Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, how are you so dumb to this going on?
Yeah. Oh, they know. They just don't want to know, man.
But that's the craziness about it. Why is it? What do you think it is? Why people are they? Is it more of a fear?
Yeah, I think that. Well, the actual people who were doing it, you can't just. Back in the 20s, you could hang people and take selfies.
Right.
You know, you go on the internet, you can Google lynchings and there's white people there smiling,
right,
with their sick ass,
right.
But now you can't do that. You have to be much more secretive about it, right?
Right.
And the black people, you know, these Judases and Sambos, they don't want to disrupt their status, friends, income, so they gonna act like they don't see nothing.
Right.
You know, you got these Jesse Lee Petersons, which I say is the blackface of quid pro quo, and you had what's that? Harris? No, I'm sorry. Candace Owens is the blackface of quid pro ho.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Oh my God. So they listen to people like that, right? You know, and so when you have these lynchings and everything, when you have George Floyd, you know, they're gonna say, "Oh, he was a criminal." Both of them said he was a criminal, and he deserved to be die. He died from drugs. So white people are using them as their voice, as their mouthpiece. They didn't have that in the 60s. They had Judases in the 60s too.
Right.
They didn't have it like in that, and they were able to do that because of integration. If you have a layer of elders that says racism doesn't exist, you have a black man saying racism doesn't exist.
That's
so. But they're being paid. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a profit center. They're being paid to do that. But you know,
how do you? It's like